Muted, sorry. I'll start from the top. What did I say? I said welcome back for another stream. I hope you're all very, very well today. Yeah, how are we doing today? Welcome to the stream, everyone. We are into the 30s now, as far as game weeks. So we're down into the final stretch. Good morning, good afternoon. Shout out to those of you who are tuned in the early hours. I know some of you are still awake, so thank you for that as well. Hopefully the sound's all right now. I think I just clicked unmute on the wrong thing, so hopefully you can hear me all right now. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me. Welcome Connor, Craig, Noctambuli, Edward, Cam, Paulie, John, Ludwig, Ilias, Famuyiwa, Harry, FPL Bio, Jur, Sam, Lewis, and everyone else. Hopefully you can hear me all right now. Welcome to the stream. Big one. What's that in the bottom right? Can you guys see the emojis in the chat? I've never seen that before. Is that a new thing? Does it just repeat whatever emojis we put in the chat? Can you see that? Let me try. Interesting. Anyway, you can see it. Okay, I've never seen that before. I don't know if that's always been there, but it must be a new thing. Anyway, yeah, lots to talk about. Got loads to cover. Got the news roundup. We'll have a skim through the scout selection, kings of the game week, the top predicted points, most transfer players, and some other bits and bobs. So lots to talk about on the stream. As always, get your questions in, and I'll do my best to answer them. George with the Teddy emoji. Teddy's not up yet. He's still asleep. He's still in bed. John says Oscar and a poll. Yeah, and a poll. We'll do lots of polls as well, as always. Lots of polls. Welcome back for another video. Welcome back for another stream. Morning, Matthew. So, Ridge says, hey Oscar, are you getting Haaland or sticking with the same front three? I've been going back and forth on this one. I can't do Tony to Haaland. My plan was to get Salah last week, which I did. And then that frees me up to free hit in Gameweek 34 instead of 32. It's close, but I prefer 34 because I can free hit to get out a full 11 of players that double. And I can already get 11 players out in blank Gameweek 32. So I want to try it. I think it's a bit of a different path to what many are taking, rightly or wrongly. Maybe that's a bad sign. But as a consequence, it does mean no Haaland. So my plan is to roll the transfer. And I'm going to go into this game week with no Haaland. Probably game week 31 as well. 32, I'll be fine without the free hit. And then I'll probably get Haaland in 33. That's the loose plan. But I know I'm in a minority there. What about you guys? Have you got Haaland back in? We'll talk about him in a minute. Obviously, he's been back in training this week. So I expect he'll be involved today. It is a risk, though. Yeah, you're right. It is a risk to go no Haaland. John says, chat, let's get to 1,000 likes. We're on 77, so we've got a way to go. But yeah, hit like if you want to support the stream, of course. You think Kepa will start? Asks Colin. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Obviously, Kepa was first choice previously under Potter, but now he's gone. Lampard's in. So, do I think he'll carry on starting? I do. I think Lampard used Mendy. I think he used Kepa for a while, but Kepa was pretty shocking under Lampard, and he ended up switching to Mendy, and Mendy was really good. So it does feel like he's a bit of a question mark long term, but for now, I would say he definitely starts. I'm not sure if Mendy has actually made a match squad yet for quite a while, so I'm not even sure what his availability is. I would expect Kepa to keep playing. Pick up FPL G-Dog. Start Saka or Martinelli? Saka. Jesus or Watkins? Watkins. Oscar, Captain Trippier. Captain Trippier. Away to Brentford. I think there's better options this week. I think Rashford's better, Haaland's better, Watkins is better. Maybe Kane, but Spurs have been pretty shocking recently. I don't think I'd take a -4 for Haaland this week. Adnan says, Salah always scores at Anfield versus Arsenal. Is that true? I mean, I need something from him today if I'm going to make it through with no Haaland. Basically, Salah has to deliver, and ideally Tony needs to do something as well, because a lot of people are taking Tony out. But I'll keep hold and just roll. And then in Gameweek 31, I'll probably sell Maddison for Saka, because Maddison's away to City, and I might make a second transfer. Maybe on Tony, not sure yet. Or maybe I'll just take the second transfer into 32 and spend 2 then. Waiting to see really what happens with a few players like Trent. Because right now I'm not confident in Trent at all. But you know, if he comes back and he does well the next week or two, then I might be tempted to pick him up for 32. Because to be fair, they've got Nottingham Forest at home in Gameweek 32. And then they've got the Dublin 34. 2 home games again. So, if possible, I'd like to get more than just Salah as far as Liverpool players. Would you start Isak or Saka? I would definitely start Saka. Isak was benched last game. Wilson scored twice, I think. So, I'm not convinced Isak starts. Flandy with the 1 year. There it is. He says, where's my Teddy selfie? Howdy, mate, by the way. Finally, thanks, Flandy, for the 1 year of support. Got the golden focal logo by your name, so congrats on that. Drop me a DM on Discord and I'll get the Teddy selfie taken for you. RSD TV says, if I roll this week and free hit in 32, do I lose my 2 free transfers for 33? That's a good question, and it's one that I overlooked in my early FPL days, and I didn't know it did this, but yeah, it does. If you free hit and you've got 2 free transfers, you'll have 1 free transfer after. Same for the wildcard, by the way. Something to bear in mind. In my very, I think it was my first season or second season of FPL, I had 2 transfers and I was like, I'll wildcard now, and then I've got 2 transfers after the wildcard. And then I got to the other week and I didn't, and I had to take a -4. So yeah, you lose that transfer. It's a good question. It's a bit of a niche thing, but yeah, you lose it. Charbel says, I'm awake. He's up. Start Rico Henry or Botman. I think I'd start Botman between those two. It's close. Let's see what the clean sheet odds say. Brentford are 25% chance. We're in Newcastle, 34. Yeah, I'd start Botman. I'd back the clean sheet odds there. While we're on them, Man City top, but I don't know if anyone's got any Man City defensive assets. We'll talk about them in a second, actually. Pep said something interesting in the press conference. How annoying is the Shaw injury, by the way? What are you guys doing with Shaw? I know a lot of you brought in Shaw last week because he had a good double, and obviously he's injured. He's out for this game. 45% chance for United for a clean sheet. Villa 42% chance. Kepa 39.5. Or Chelsea, sorry, not Kepa. Leicester, not sure about that. We'll have to see how they do after Rodgers sack him. Southampton 9.5% chance against City. Everton 14.5% chance against Man United away at Old Trafford. Quick news roundup. First of all, welcome Burnley back to the Premier League on Company's first attempt, their first attempt. Good to see Burnley back in the Premier League. A very different Burnley to the one that left the Premier League, but Burnley are back up, so we'll see them next season. Some further news. Arteta confirms Saka's completely over his illness. That's really small. And fine to start on Sunday, so good news for the Saka owners. Ten Hag confirmed that Shaw isn't available for the game against Everton today. Eriksen's back in the squad for the first time since January. That's an interesting one. Once he and Casemiro are ready to start games, I imagine Bruno will push, well, he definitely will. He'll push further forward than he has been recently in their absence. So that'll be good for Bruno owners because he has been playing deeper. Man City news. Guardiola on Erling Haaland's fitness and availability. He said he's training the last 2 days. Really good. He will be ready. So it's rare we get something as concrete as that from Pep, but Haaland is available. And this was the one I was talking about in terms of the defence. It's an interesting quote. He says, look at Nathan Ake this season. Last season he didn't play 1 minute and now he's undroppable. It happens. Interesting quote from Pep there on City because they've got really good fixtures coming up. Let's go to transfers. I think we're going to be looking at Ederson or a defender a bit further down the line. If we look at City's fixtures, they've got in 34 they've got Fulham and West Ham, and then they've got this Brighton postponement here, which will probably drop into 37. So 2 doubles expected for Man City. So I reckon A bit further down the line, we're going to be looking at the likes of Edison or a defender. Maybe Ake is the answer. Dylan says Isak versus Solanke, plus Captain Haaland or Rashford. I would say Solanke because Isak was benched last game. Haaland or Rashford? I prefer Rashford. Even if I had both, I think I'd go Rashford. I just reckon Haaland plays an hour. I know that's enough for him to haul. I think Rashford probably plays more. And by the way, try and find the tweet. I did take a screenshot when I was getting ready for the stream. Interesting one on Rashford here. His home returns since the restart, since the World Cup at Old Trafford are 14, 8, 10, 12, 8, 15, 3 and 10. That one blank, the three-pointer, was that game when Casemiro got red carded after 34 minutes. So in 8 games, he's averaging 10 points per average, and that includes the week where he got that red card. But yeah, it's close. They're both very good options. I prefer Rashford just about, even if I did have Haaland. CFJW says Saka and Felix to Haaland and Andreas for -4. I wouldn't take a -4 for Haaland personally this week. I don't think it's worth it. Saka and Felix are fine. And you look at Arsenal's fixtures, you're going to just want Saka back. Like West Ham, they just lost 5-1 home, and then Southampton home in 32. I wouldn't do that. I'd keep hold of Saka. Felix, you might want to move on. Bungle says, hi mate, Isak over March, I have Mitoma. Now I'd start March. I would give March the nod. Again, Isak was benched last game. Wilson scored 2. The game before that, Isak played fairly well, but he didn't score. Wilson came on and scored. So Wilson's got 3 and 2. I'm not sure if Isak starts. Thoughts on a Buendia punt, Oscar? I don't hate that, but Buendia? Not for me personally. I wouldn't go there. I don't hate it. It's a good fixture, don't get me wrong. Forest obviously really poor on the road. In fact, I've got a stat on them as well. I did a couple of tweets about captaincy this week. In terms of Aston Villa's fixture, Nottingham Forest have conceded 34 goals on the road this season. Only Bournemouth have conceded more. So Watkins is a really strong captaincy shout. Only 1 blank in his last 10 games, home and away. But Buendia, I don't know. I don't think so. I wouldn't go there. Have we got any Man City news? We know that Haaland is back with the squad. He's training, so he's fine. I expect he'll probably start, but you never know with Pep. It was weird. Pep's rarely clear in his press conferences. He normally says we'll train later and we'll see. Gives nothing away. But he did say that Haaland's been training this week. So maybe it's the reverse. Now that he's given clear answers, he's benched. But no, he should be fine. Robertson or Mings? Novus, thank you for the 6 months. He says 4 among McAllister, Mitoma, Ødegaard, Rashford, Saka. I would go Rashford, Saka, McAllister and Mitoma. I would bench Ødegaard. Right, let's have a look at the scout selection for Gameweek 30. This is how they have lined up. Let me know in the chat what you think of the team. They've gone for Martinez in goal, back 3, Trippier, Chilwell, Stones, Saka, Maddison, Rashford captain, Mitoma, and then up top Haaland, Kane and Watkins. Oh, they missed a bracket off on Watkins there. Strong team, says Fred. Schwan asks why March over Mitoma. I mean, I'm chasing rank. That's one reason, and I think they're really close. They're about equal, March and Mitoma. So that was one reason. I tweeted something last night. Let's see if I can find it. Oh wait, I actually picked up some steam overnight. That's interesting. Here it is. Spurs have conceded over twice as many chances down their left flank versus the right over the last 6. 20 down the left, 9 down the right. And I basically tweeted, is there anything in that, or is it just noise? You know, I don't know if maybe Perisic is a bit of a liability, maybe Longley as well in left centre back. But it's an interesting trend there, and it's the same for crosses conceded. 66 down their left, 46 down their right. So they look weaker down the left. Again, it might be nothing in it, but I want to give March the chance for that reason. And because I'm chasing as well. You know, don't get me wrong, Mitoma is the more safer pick, probably more sensible. You know, he's in more form. He's returned in 5 games in a row. But, you know, March hasn't delivered in terms of points recently, but his underlying numbers are really strong. I think he was one of the biggest XG underperformers of last game week as well. I think it was 0.97 XG that he failed to score from, so he's due. John says, Oscar, do a poll. What other FPL content creators do you watch? Well, yeah, we can poll that. The problem is there's so many. Which other? No, it doesn't really work because you can only pick one. I imagine you guys watch multiple. Let me know in the chat. Who are there any other content creators you guys watch? Let's talk FPL, FPL Harry, FPL Raptor, FPL Mate. We're spoiled for choice, aren't we, with the content creators? But I imagine lots of you watch multiple, right? Before I was doing FPL content, I used to watch multiple. FPL tips as well. I used to watch him religiously back in the day before I did FPL content myself. Only FPL Harry and yourself. Andy, Raptor, Father Ted, Slippers, Raptor, Black Box. Black Box is great. I love Black Box. Planet FPL. I met James the other day for the first time. Really nice guy, actually. FPL TV. Focal only. Thanks for that. Thanks for saying that. Dylan RCM. Yeah, he's good. He's great with the questions. I've tuned into some of his before. FPL Focus. FPL Focus. Me and him get mixed up all the time. It's a nightmare. Aranya says, start 2 of March, Mitoma and McAllister. I think I would go March. I think I'd go March, and it's between Mitoma and Mac. Spurs have been weaker through their middle as well, so I would take a chance on Mac. Maybe Porro and Romero will give Mitoma a hard time down the right side. Don't know, hard to say. I think I'd give March and Mac the nod there and bench Mitoma. The Brighton mids are a nightmare because there's nothing between them. Like every week, it feels like we're just reading tea leaves, like trying to find some kind of pattern, but it's just pure luck. This could be the week where March hauls, Mitoma blanks. It could be a Mac haul, March and Mitoma blank. It's really hard to say what's going to happen, but they're all great options. They're all going to do well long term. But yeah, the nightmare is that these weeks where you're having to bench one or start one. After, I imagine if we can, we'll start them in 31 against Chelsea, and then after that it's just plain sailing. They've got the double in 34 and 2 further postponements. So they're probably doubling 34, 36 and 37. I actually made a graphic on the experts video. You guys might have seen it. Oh, I'm blocking it. That's not going to work. That fit? 32 and 34 we know about, but there's an expected double in 36 for Brighton and Newcastle. And then another double in 37 for Brighton, Chelsea, Man City and Man United. So 3 doubles for Brighton. So yeah, you want to be tripled up, if not now, after 32. Zorion says it's weeks like this where everyone squabbles over which mid and Estepinian drops a 15-pointer. Wouldn't be surprised. The Brighton just unbelievable. Do you guys think Brighton make European football? Europa League? Or maybe Champions League? It's going to be close. I think Europa League's within reach for them. Morning, Andre. How you doing? Yeah, I hope they do as well. It'd be incredible. Such a well-run club. You know, they lose Potter, and they've got even better. It's crazy. You know, they lost Trossard and it's not made a dent at all. Mitoma's just been unbelievable. You have 14 mil in the bank, Haaland or Watkins for Ings. I would go Haaland. Yeah, I'd sell Ings for Haaland if you've got that much money. You reckon they'll pip Spurs and Liverpool? Yeah, I'm not sure about Liverpool now. Why does the Premier League like scheduling big matches on a Sunday? I think that's just standard scheduling to have games spread out. It doesn't really matter, does it, which day it is? I suppose if it's on a Saturday, people might be more inclined to go pub and that sort of thing, but you can't just have it all on a Saturday. John says, what's your transfer plans today? I'm going to roll the transfer. It could be a defining game week for me, actually, I have to say. Like, my season's just not been going how I wanted to. I talked a bit about it in the team selection video. I don't know if you guys have seen FPL review, but you can chuck your ID in and it reviews your season in terms of where you'd expect it to be based on things like XG and projected points and so on. Because, you know, if you have, like, say today, Mitoma misses an absolute sitter, like open goal, 0.99 XG. All you'd see is 2 points, and you don't realise that you've been very unlucky there. And that accumulates over the season to give a positive or negative variance, basically. So it's quite a good tool to help you avoid binning a good FPL strategy. And I chucked mine in out of interest, and I was minus 69 points over the season on variance. For comparison, last season I was incredibly lucky, and I was plus 132. So it's a massive swing this season compared to last. Last season I would say very, very lucky. I'll hold my hands up to that. This season, very unlucky in terms of FPL Review's season review. But yeah, if I was just break even on that minus 69 points, I'd be inside the top 100k right now, let alone positive variance. But that's just the game we play. You know, you have positive and negative variance every week. Low XG shots go in, high XG shots are missed. That's just the game, and it accumulates over the season. So I've been trying a few things, and going without Haaland is another one of those, and it could be season defining, as I say. It might be the end of me, it might be a good play, we'll have to see. My plan is to go without him until 33 and then free hit 34. Someone was asking what the website is. It's fplreview.com, and then along the top somewhere there's a tool that says season review, and then you just chuck your ID in. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I recommend checking it out, because you can use that to see if you've just been unlucky this season and you've actually had a viable strategy, or vice versa. You might chuck your ID in and find that you've been very, very lucky, and that might be hard to replicate. Anyway, if you're like an analytical player, it's a good thing to check out. But the more casual players watching this right now are probably thinking like, shut up, you loser. How do I find my ID? If you go to the FPL website, you can't do it from the app. If you go to points and then click on Gameweek history, in the browser URL, you'll see a little number. It'll say fantasy.premierleague.com/entry/ and then 3 numbers, and that's, or not 3 numbers, numbers there. That's your ID. Analytics FC for the win. Stat merchant, exactly. Absolutely stat merchant. Right, guesses in the chat. Who's going to be the king of Game Week 30? It was Callum Wilson, who joined last week. 19-pointer. It was almost Watkins. It was Callum Wilson in the end, who nipped into it with his 2 goals in the second game. 3 goals in the double game week in total. Get your guesses in. Who's it going to be this week? Grenville says -4 for Haaland and Grealish. I'm pushing rank. It depends who you're selling, basically. I don't think a -4 is worth it, but it really depends who you're selling. If you're selling someone who looks like a bad pick for this week, then I think it's fine. You know, like if you're selling, someone was selling Ings just now for Haaland, like that's fine. Ings was benched last game. Or if you're selling Isak, that's fine. Isak was benched last game. I don't know which mid you're selling. It really depends on who you're selling as part of the -4. So it's hard to answer that. Andrew, thanks for the super chat. He says, what do you think about Kane to Haaland and Fernandes to Saka and Grealish or Mahrez for a -4? It feels like such a big swing, that one. I'm not sure if it's an upgrade. Going Kane to Haaland before 2 home games, Fernandes to Saka, you know, Bruno's home to Everton, Grealish and Mahrez as well. You're taking a -4. It would be Grealish if I was taking a -4 for one of those, but when I look at that, I'm just not sure if that's like an upgrade, whether you're going to gain points. Like when you're making transfers, you have to look at it and think, I'm expecting to like make some gains off this. Can you really say that over the next 2 for Kane? And probably for Bruno as well. Like, Eriksen's back, Casemiro's back from suspension soon. Bruno should be pushed further forward. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'd do that. We've seen time and time again where you look at your team and you make transfers thinking, I'm not sure, should be okay. Look at my wildcard in Gameweek 20, was it 26? When I sold Salah before he played Man United, I ended up like -30 on my wildcard because of that 7-0 game. I don't know if I would do those transfers, especially for a -4. Andreas, welcome. He says, hello, just tuned in. Captain Edouard. Captain Edouard should be the obvious choice though, right? Yeah, you first, mate. You can Captain Edouard. Yeah, I don't know if I'd Captain Edouard. I feel like Palace are going to be so boring for the rest of the season, aren't they? Like, Hodgson's going to grind out the results. He's going to keep them up. It's not going to be great football, probably. Captain Edouard. Connor Jones says, can you shout out my girlfriend Issy? First FPL season, 1,679 points. Shout out to Issy on her first FPL season. Hopefully she's enjoying it, Connor, and wants to come back and play again. I was talking to my girlfriend about FPL the other day, and she's going to give it a go next season. Like, she knows about what I do, the FPL videos and the streams and so on. She's a Chelsea fan, which is a shame, but she's going to give FPL a go next season, so we'll have to make a girlfriend's mini-league. Thoughts on March to Andreas? I wouldn't sell March this week. I probably wouldn't sell him at all, to be honest with you. His underlying numbers are really good. I feel like he's due. I feel like he's due a return. I wouldn't be selling him. Right, we've got 1 hour till the deadline. Keep your questions coming in. If you've enjoyed the stream so far, hit like on it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do these deadline streams every game week, and I make FPL videos every game week. So if you like the stream, then like it and subscribe and all those good things. James says, Maddison and Havertz for Haaland and Grealish. Again, I don't know if I'd sell Maddison before Bournemouth at home. It just feels wrong. I wouldn't do it. Again, I feel like you have to give him one more chance and then you sell him before City. What I will say as well, by the way, for people looking at moves like that this week, is I would only make transfers like that if you plan to free hit in 32 or if you can field 11 players, because Man City blank in 32. So if you're bringing in Haaland and Grealish, then you're probably going to end up getting to Gameweek 32 and you can't field 11 players. So just be careful of that as well. I do think overall that is an upgrade, but I feel like Havertz and Maddison could do something. I probably would do it, just about, yeah. I would do it, James. It is close. You know, Grealish, he's been really good recently. I think Foden's back in a week or two. Yeah, I need to add a deadline timer, John. I need to look into how to do that. I did look into it a long time ago, and I couldn't figure out a way to do it reliably for every stream. But it's definitely possible. I've seen Harry uses one. I need to ask Harry how he does it. How much longer are you keeping Salah for? Are you keeping the faith? I'm keeping him. Unless he really disappoints me, I'm probably going to keep him for the foreseeable. I can't remember if they are expected to blank in 37 or not, but I'll definitely be keeping, maybe for the rest of the season, to be fair. You know, after the Dublin 34, it's Brentford, Leicester, Villa, Southampton. I'll probably keep ChatGPT for a live tracker. You know, I was thinking about ChatGPT and AI and all that the other day. Like, the rate that it's growing at, you know, you can chuck in a prompt and it'll create an image on absolutely anything you want. And it's very early days with the technology. So what happens when it gets to the point where it can do entire FPL videos? Are we going to have AI FPL content creators? Am I going to be replaced? Will you guys lose interest in my content if there's an AI that can churn out content, you know, every hour on demand? Who knows? We're a long way off that, but it's going to happen at some point. I think entertainment in general is going to drastically change once it gets to that point. Like, imagine being able to just chuck in a prompt about any plot or any movie you want and be able to watch that on demand, right? It's going to be crazy. James says, thank you, Oscar. You're welcome, James. Thanks for the super chats. There's an AI Jesus on Twitch now. This is what I mean. There's on Twitch, there's lots of AI channels that run 24/7. Anyone can ask anything in chat. When do we have the first AI content creator? Imagine they're streaming 24/7 and you can ask them any questions anytime. They're always live. They're always taking your questions. They're always giving good answers. I don't know. I hope I don't get replaced by AI because I love what I do. But I feel like the next few years are going to be crazy, for want of a better word. Brian says, going Maddison and Isak to Haaland and Grealish. Yeah, I like those moves. Isak, I'm not sure if he starts. Maddison could punish you, but, you know, it's Man City against Southampton. It makes sense. You sound robotic already. I know, I get that a lot. I do get that a lot. I can't help how I talk. But the problem is, right, and this isn't a bad thing, but some content creators will hit record and they'll be able to like freely talk about FPL and anything like that. I think I could as well, like I'm talking freely now. But for my videos, I write down what I'm going to say for every video, and then I read the transcript, and that allows me to get the point across as concisely as I want to, and it makes the video shorter, which is why you'll notice that my videos are almost never 10 minutes long. But yeah, that's as a consequence of me writing down what I'm going to say and then reading off that. And it's hard to sound natural when you're reading, right? But yeah, also my voice is a bit robotic. I can't dispute that. Before I watched your live stream, I thought you were AI. You know what's interesting as well? You can chat recordings into tools and then get it to read anything you want. I did one with Ross ages ago where I typed in like something for Ross to say. And it sounded like Ross. Like you could tell it wasn't quite Ross Raptor, but yeah, it's at the point now where you can't tell the difference. Anyway, what's my move? I'm rolling the transfer this week. Rolling the transfer. Rashford captain. Let's do a captain poll actually. Who's your captain? I feel like the three popular picks are Rashford, Haaland, Watkins, yeah? But let's see what the votes look like, because I have no idea, actually. Who's your captain for Game Week 30? Boom, get your votes in. Never back the early kickoff. Didn't Liverpool have the early kickoff last week and Salah scored? And I did captain. Came for FPL, leave him with AI. C3PO focal. Did you use the voice thing for the Team North reveal? That was a different one actually. You can take a photo of any person, any celebrity, anyone you know, and then you record over the top and the AI adds like the lips in and makes the photo move like they're really talking. I don't know if I can find it now. It's quite funny actually. Hi guys, I won't show the whole video, but it looks quite convincing. Hi guys, I just wanted to say up the Team South and fuck the North. Come on, Team South. Better team to be on.
Look, if I had to pick one team, it's going to be Team South.
Yeah, I've seen it. I think Team South are the much better. And this is just like me doing a bad voiceover. You know, if they are looking for a manager, do let me know, and I'll be happy to step in. No, but seriously, I'm looking to take on any opportunities. Anyway, yeah, there's loads of like really cool AI tools like that. It looks awful. Yeah, it's not that convincing. It's not like you would look at it and think it's actually real. Horrid. All right, fine. I was trying to find a way to promote Team North v Team South for Gameweek 39. The week after the season ends, the North FPL content creators play against the South FPL content creators. Big match. There's like an FPL game. A fantasy game for it and everything. I'm only 5 mil by the way on it, so I've got myself triple captain. Mason Mount to start for Chelsea now. Probably, yeah. He's Lampard's darling, isn't he? Lampard absolutely loves Mount. Obviously, they spent time together at Derby as well, and Lampard helped bring him through, especially when that transfer ban. He probably does start games, but I wouldn't be going there on FPL. That's for sure. Not anytime soon. Hit for Haaland despite no free hit left. No, again, it depends how you look in Game Week 32. And this is the problem, right? If you grab Haaland now and you're going to have 7 players in Game Week 32, then it's just not worth it, especially for a hit. Captain poll results. Who's your captain for Game Week 30? 45% Haaland, 29% Rashford, 22% Watkins, and 3% other. Interesting. Very interesting. Mount is Lampard's son. Oscar, when's the next FPL meet in London? I think it's Game Week 38. I think. Yeah. If anyone lives in London or nearby, I recommend going to this. I'll be there. It's at a pub called the Thirsty Bear, and all the televised matches will be shown. I think there's like 50 or 60 FPL managers going. You just get drunk, watch the games together, hang out with like-minded people. It's always a good time. At FPL Meets on Twitter, if you fancy it. I'll be there. I'll do a deadline stream first, and then I'll head straight there, basically. That's my plan. Kieran says, start 3 of Salah, March, Mitoma, and Tony. Well, I've got the same 4. So, for me, Salah, March, and Tony. I think Mitoma's like the more sensible option because he's returned in 5 in a row. So, if you prefer Mitoma, go with that. It's just between March and Mitoma. I would start Tony and I'd start Salah. Start Tony or Havertz. Tony, just about. I'm not going for Haaland. No, I know. Could be a defining game week for me. I'm out in London today at a bottomless booze thing. So, could be perfect timing as I'll miss the Man City game. How's it going, Devon? Hope you're well, mate. Is Luke Shaw playing? No Luke Shaw this game week. Ten Hag confirmed that Luke Shaw's not available for the game against Everton. Eriksen back is big, and obviously Casemiro's back soon as well. So that's good for those of you that own Fernandes, because he's been playing deeper the last few games, but he'll be pushed further forward. Connor says, start 2 of Bruno, Mitoma, Tony and March. Big up Focal. Thanks, Connor. Bruno, Mitoma, Tony and March. Yeah, it's just what impact does Bruno playing deeper have this week as well? Because it's a really good fixture against Everton. I'd start Bruno. I'd start Tony. Basically, start March if you're chasing. Start Mitoma if you're happy where you are. Mitoma is much more highly owned, so I would go off that. If you're chasing or you want to push upwards, you want to press on, start March. If you're happy to consolidate, you're alright where you are, start Mitoma. Those are the only 2 to decide on there. Right, get your guesses in the chat. Who's the most transferred in player this week? Most transferred in player heading into Gameweek 30. What do you mean, why Chilwell? Chilwell's a great pick. He's just come off the back of a 9-pointer. Who's the most transferred in player this week? Haaland, Jesus, Watkins, Grealish. I actually don't know who it is. Let's see. It is Haaland. 519,000 transfers in. Oh my god, that's concerning reading as someone who doesn't even own him, let alone the captaincy. 380,000 have picked up Watkins, 306,000 Grealish, 285,000 Mings, White, De Bruyne, Matoma. Alright, let's have a look at most transfers. It is, let me update the numbers. Luke Shaw, he crept up there. 479,000 sales. Saliba, 446,000. I think he's still out again this game week, Saliba. Probably holding centre back again. Tony. God, imagine if Tony punishes. Almiron, he's out. Haaland's the most transferred in and 5th most transferred out. Make that make sense. The Flying Nasia says, thinking of a -4 to get differential. Mac to Grealish or Zinchenko to Mings. The future double game weeks, I need to sell Brighton midfielder for a City and United two times. I mean, if you're going for a differential, I think it makes sense to get someone with more upside, like Grealish. So I would say Grealish. But again, just be careful. If you plan to free hit 32, that's fine. If you don't, you just need to be careful how many players you can field. Because Brighton will blank, but you're selling them for Grealish who blanks. Whereas Mings doesn't blank in 32. That's the only consideration. Grealish or Martinelli to start? I would say Grealish. Should I start Isak or Fernandes? Fernandes. Why not bench Tony for Matoma? I just prefer Tony personally. It's quite close, but I prefer Tony. And I had a look at the projected points out of curiosity, and it did agree with that. It did have Tony ahead of Matoma, so I'm going for Tony. It's home. He's on penalties. You know, he's playing fairly well recently. I realise that Matoma is as well. But I am chasing rank as well, to be fair. So that's why I've got March over Matoma as well. Ross Wheeler says, Maddison to Grealish and Tony for Haaland from -4. I wouldn't do it for a -4. I looked at it as well. I looked at selling Maddison, Tony for Haaland and a midfielder, but I'm not convinced it's worth it for a -4. If you really want to just protect yourself, consolidate rank, then do it, because obviously Haaland's going to be highly owned, but I'm not convinced you're going to get the hit repaid. Yeah, it depends. It depends, really. Okay, if I grabbed Haaland now, I'd have to sell Kane, but it feels pretty safe. It feels like it massively reduces the potential upside of my team. And I probably will have to commit to free hit 32 in my case as well, if I was to sell Kane for Haaland, because Kane doesn't blank in 32 while Haaland does. D Chopra says, Fernandes for De Bruyne and keep Tony. I've got a free hit for 32. No, I don't think I would do it that way round. I would much rather sell Tony for Haaland than Bruno for KDB. I'd rather sell Tony. Obviously, Tony's 1 yellow card away from missing 2 games as well. And obviously, there's the potential ban for the betting scandal. A few factors at play there. Marcus, thank you for the 8 months. He says, gambling, he's benching Kane and starting Matoma in March. That's a huge shout. Huge shout, that. I mean, the way Spurs are playing and the way Brighton are playing, that might come off. It might come off. Big shout. I mean, I hope March comes in for you. I've started him over Matoma. Thanks for the super chat. Thoughts on Jesus? By the way, Spurs have conceded the same amount down both flanks since the restart from the World Cup. Best of luck. Yeah, Jesus, not this week. Not this week, I don't think, away to Liverpool. Arsenal playing well, but I don't think I'd go there this week. He could become a great option. You know, he might end up making his way into my team for Tony in 31. I don't think I'd do it this week away to Liverpool. But yeah, don't get me wrong. Earlier in the season, before his injury, he was doing quite well, fairly consistent. And I like the fixtures after Liverpool. West Ham, they just lost 5-1. Southampton home. City obviously is massive. Who knows? Up against his old team. Yeah, I'd give it this week and reassess him. On the flanks, that's interesting since the restart. I did have a look over the last 6. I don't know if I still got the tweet. Not to hand. I tweeted last night about that. Over the last 6, they've conceded twice as many down March's side. And they've conceded a fair bit more crosses down March's side. So more recently, they're weaker down March's side. Interesting that they are even since the restart. I didn't know that. Oblivious says, thoughts on Mitoma versus Maddison. Leicester are poor at the moment. Yeah, I think I'd still start Maddison if I had to pick between the two. Home to Bournemouth is about as good as fixtures come. I'd start Maddison. John Oscar Pollard there, who still has their free hit? Let's do a poll on how many chips you've got left. Naught, 1, 2, 3. I mean, surely no one's got 3, right, at this point. Get your votes in. We don't know exactly how long Shaw's out for, but based on Ten Hag's comments, it shouldn't be a long-term one. Might even be back for 31. Sell Tony or Isak for Haaland? Isak, yeah, I would do that, 100%. Not sure if Isak starts. Haven't been benched last week. Adastra says Salah to Grealish, Tony to Haaland for free. No free hit though. If you haven't got a free hit, then just check how how that leaves you in Gameweek 32. I imagine if you're selling 2 players with a game of 32 for 2 players that don't, then that's not worth it. As much as it just feels like wrong to go without Haaland, you have to look at Gameweek 32. You have to. If Tony can swerve suspension and the ban, then he'll have a game. Salah will have a game. Grealish and Haaland won't, so I wouldn't do it. Start Botman or Henry? Botman. Isak or Ødegaard? Ødegaard. Mitoma or Isak? Mitoma. Right, how many chips have you got left? 18% have none. 57% have 1. I'm one of those. 20% have got 2 and 5% have got 3. Interesting. I can't believe 5% of you have got 3 chips still. What would you still have? Your wild card, triple captain, free hit? Yeah, I suppose that's possible. Saka or Martinelli? Saka. March or Isak? March. Tony or Nunez? Tony. Bruno to Bowen? No, I wouldn't do that. Ilias has got the bench boost left. When are you going to use it, Ilias? In 34? Has to be 34, right? Nobody has 3, all trolls. I reckon, maybe, I think it's about right. Maybe 5%. I mean, what's that? 1 in 20 of you? Sounds about right. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream so far. We've got about 40 mins till the deadline. We've got 2k tuned in. So if you have enjoyed it, hit like on the stream. Make sure you're subscribed and all those good things. I do these streams every game week, and I make FPL videos during the week as well. So if you'd like to show your support, that's how you do it. And thank you to the new members as well during the stream. If you want to become a member to support the channel, it's the join button below the stream. You get some perks as well, like a little badge by your name. There's a private channel on Discord for members. You get early access to my videos and a few goodies like that. And obviously it just supports the channel. Dimitri says he's at 6k rank protecting. Feels like minimising potential damage is getting Haaland, but captain of Rashford and Watkins. Thoughts? Yeah, if you're protecting, obviously you get Haaland. Interestingly, I was chatting to Ben Krellin. He DM'd me last night to ask if I was getting Haaland or not, because he's in the same position as me, where he bought Salah and the only way to get Haaland for him and me was to sell Kane, and I said I'm not. He was pretty on the fence about it, but it sounded like he might not be getting Haaland either, and he's top 1k, so I think there's more to gain if it comes off by not getting Haaland. But if you want to protect, then yeah, I would do it. Rashford captain, if I had to pick between him and Watkins, yeah, Rashford captain. I think it's fine to protect. It's a viable strategy, absolutely. Steven says De Gea or Kepa, Tony or Fernandes. I think De Gea. Let's have a check on the clean sheet odds. Yeah, 45% for Man United. Chelsea 39.5. Back the clean sheet odds, De Gea. Tony or Fernandes is very hard. I would say Fernandes. I'd go Bruno. Darshan says play Ings or get Watkins from -4. Who have West Ham got this week? Actually, can't remember who they play. Have they got a good game? They play... Oh, they're away to Fulham. I just don't know if he starts or not. He was benched last game and Antonio started. Any West Ham fans in the chat able to indicate whether they think Ings will start again or not? He probably does. They lost 5-1, right? He surely starts again. Fulham's a good game as well. I don't know if I'd take a -4 for Watkins. I think I'd leave Ings. It really depends on whether he starts or not, though. And I actually don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, based on how poor West Ham were, you know, losing 5-1 at home, then you'd think he starts again. Liam, looking handsome today, Oscar. Thanks, Liam. Appreciate that. Yeah, I had to get ready nice and early today because as soon as this stream ends, I'm heading into London to meet up with friends. As I was saying earlier, I'm going to this bottomless booze thing today, so I'm probably going to be steaming later, to be honest with you. But well timed because I'll miss the Man City game as a no Haaland owner. West Ham need to win or Moyes is sacked. Yeah, how's Moyes not been sacked, by the way? How has he not been sacked? Where are they right now? Are they in the relegation zone? Oh, they're 15th. Yeah, I mean, it's a must-win game. If they lose to Fulham, without Mitrovic as well, he's surely done. David, thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you for that, David. Appreciate that very much. That went to Muckle. Make sure to thank David Muckle. Kelzang says, hi Focal, you are flying. I'm not flying this season. Way to go. No free hit. Do you mean you're flying this season? I'm certainly not. Way to go. No free hit. Thoughts on Havertz to Jesus. Haaland will leave me with 9 players in Gameweek 32. Protect, leave Jesus. I mean, 9 is pretty light for 32. So I don't think I would make a transfer that leaves me another player short, personally. Havertz to Jesus. If you don't own Watkins, then I'd prioritise that or Kane. I think I would make a transfer that puts you in the best position for 32, regardless of, you know, if you want to protect or not. But that's what I would do personally. I mean, that's what I'm doing. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Because you're going to get to Gameweek 32 and you're going to have 9 players. And think about it, that's going to be far worse. You're going to end up with a pretty hefty red arrow if you can get to like 10 at best of a -4. Maybe you won't. Maybe, you know, if you nail captaincy, but I wouldn't do that. Captaincy poll. We did one. We'll do another one just before the deadline. We've got like half an hour to go, so we'll do one more a bit closer to the deadline. Is there anything else we can poll? We'll do a hits poll. There we go. Get your votes in. Madison or Tony? By the way, love the content. Thanks, Johan. Madison. Just about Madison. I feel like this is the week where Leicester get a result. You know, things had fallen apart under Rodgers. You know, he's gone. It's a good fixture against Bournemouth, who I think... Yeah, they're 2 points behind. I'm backing Leicester to get a result there. It's home. It's a must-win game. I think Madison will come good. I hope so. It'd be a nice parting gift because I'm planning to sell him for Saka in 31. High Focal, love the content. Erdegaard or March? March. 3 to start from Mac, Erdegaard, Saka and Tony. Saka, Tony and Mac. Mr. Jack says Madison to Hall. That would be amazing. That would be a nice parting gift because he's been disappointing. He's a good FPL asset. He's a proven quality, but it's just not happened recently. He's been somewhat unlucky as well, really. Watching games, his underlying stats, he's been unlucky. And they tend to do better when he's in the side, so I'm backing him to come good. Right, what's your rank, guys? Let me know in the chat. What's your overall rank? Be honest. No lying about your ranks. I'm going to refill my drink. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Look who I found on the way back. Can you see him? Teddy. 43k, 100k, 10k, 500k, 2.5 mil, 34k, not to mention 17k, 18k, 43k, 1,400, nice. Rashi hat-trick incoming, hope so. Rank number 1 in my dreams, 5.2k, 6 million, 15k, 5k, interesting. Good of Teddy to make an appearance on a stream for once, even though it was a brief cameo. Right, we've got 30 minutes till the deadline. Reminder to make sure your captaincy's sorted, your bench is in the right order, all those good things. Transfers locked in. What transfers have you guys made this week? So the poll was, how many hits are you taking this week? 75% are taking none, 22% are taking a -4, and then 2% are taking a -8, and 2% taking a -12. Interesting. Shaw to Zuma. Isak to Haaland. I like that. Yeah, if I was an Isak owner and I could afford Haaland, the move makes itself. Oh yeah, did you guys see this tweet last night? Gameweek 29's twat, which is an acronym by the way for the worst active team. Do you think I should keep this going every week as like a weekly update? Basically it's I don't know if you guys know this actually, but I've been working with a web developer for the last like month or two, and I'm going to launch my own website, and it's going to have loads of like interesting stuff, fun stats, and one of them was this, which was the worst score in the top 10k, and it was a guy called Willie Lee who scored 67 points, and that was a red arrow from 34th to 1000 to about 1.9k. I thought that'd be quite a fun thing to keep going. And yeah, this developer, this guy who's been working on my FPL website, has made a little widget that shows that each week. So I think that could be a little fun thing. Yeah, it used to be on Reddit. I found the guy who originally did it. He came up with the acronym TWAT, by the way, the worst active team. It wasn't me. But yeah, Tongue in Loftus Cheek, I think his name was. I mean, we all love a disaster class. Like, I made a video about disaster classes, and to my surprise, it did incredibly well. So, yeah, that could be a fun thing. I'll keep doing it if you guys want me to. I wonder if we'll get any leaks or anything before the deadline. I'll keep an eye out. We might get something. Let me just check if there's anything that's come through yet. Alright, I don't think there's going to be any surprises. It's Man United first. We know that Luke Shaw's not available. Nothing so far. Please keep doing the twat. Yeah, okay. I'll keep it going. I'll keep it going. I'll have to check if they're okay with me using the name, though, because they came up with the acronym first. James D, thanks for the quid. Appreciate the super chat. Thanks for that. Oscar, what happened to the FPL guy Ted Wickham? Don't know who that is. Ted Wickham. Not sure. Never heard of him. Start Pinnacle White. Pinnock. Share or Botman? Share. What are your plans, Oscar? I'm rolling the transfer. As I was saying earlier, it could be a pretty season-defining game week for me. You know, March and Matoma is pretty 50-50. Raya and Steele's pretty 50-50. But also I'm going no Haaland, which, yeah, it is a bit risky. But it was the strategy I decided to go down. It was the path I went for. So I'm going to stick to the plan. By not getting Haaland, it allows me to free hit in 34, which I do prefer. I've got that graphic from the experts video. 34, Brighton, Fulham, Liverpool, Man City, Man United and West Ham double. So my plan is to free hit in 34. Can you see my mouse? No. Yeah. So I've already got triple Brighton, but I might change it on the free hit. I'll go triple Liverpool, so I'll probably get like Salah, probably Trent, maybe Darwin. Triple City, I'll go Haaland, you know, maybe Mahrez, Grealish, maybe a goal, maybe a Edison, and then I'll get obviously Rashford, Bruno, and Shaw, something like that. So I'll completely load up on a full 11 with double game weeks in 34, because I can field 11 players in game week 32 if I don't buy Kane. So it is a bit risky, but I feel like I need to try something a bit different. I'm way off where I want to be. It's my worst rank by this point in my 12 years playing, so let's see what happens. I mean, content creators, their responsibility is to entertain and to inform. I think my content informs, and this is going to be entertaining whatever happens. It could completely backfire and kill me, but it's going to be entertaining, right, if nothing else. James says, would you play Tony or McAllister? I would play Tony. I'd give Tony the nod. It's a close one between the Brighton mids and Tony. It is a big dilemma this week. I'm starting Tony over Mitoma. A similar debate. Bam Bang says, start me, Zinchenko or Estepinian. I would start me. I'd back the clean sheet odds there, which favour Brentford, I believe. Brentford, 25% chance. Arsenal, 23.5. Not much in it, but to be fair. Brighton, 25. Oh, that's interesting. Brighton and Brentford are... Based on that, I would start Estepinian, because he's got much more attacking threat. Yeah, I'd start Estepinian. I thought that Brentford have better odds than Brighton, but they don't. Siddhartha says, McAllister or Martinelli? I'd start Mac. Tottenham have been vulnerable through the middle. I did have a look into this last night. Interestingly, they've been more vulnerable down their left as well, which is why I've taken the punt on March over Mitoma. So I'd start Mac. Start Martinelli or Saka? Saka. McAllister or Tony? Tony. Henry or Botman? Botman. McAllister or Ødegaard? McAllister. We don't know if Martinelli comes up against Trent. It could be Gomez and right back again. But yeah, I take your point. We just don't know, do we? Trent was benched last game and they kept a clean sheet. The defence did their job. White or me? Me. Barnes or Maddison? I still think Maddison. I still think Maddison's going to come good. It's his last chance in my team, but I'm going to go Maddison. Barnes is doing well. Barnes is a weird one. He never gets bonus. This season, he's still not picked up a single bonus point, and he's got 12 attacking returns. I just feel like Maddison's got the haul in him. Barnes doesn't. So I'll go Maddison. Salah captain. That's an interesting one. Someone said earlier he's got a really good record against Arsenal at Anfield. So if that's true, I don't hate it, but I think there's better options. These are how the projected points look on FPL review. Sorted highest to lowest. So Salah is what, 7th here? Peter says, hey Oscar, thoughts on the City defenders? I'm doing Ings to Haaland and Shaw to a City defender. Yeah, if I was picking a City defender, it would be Ake. I think it goes without saying that none of them are nailed. None are nailed. But if I was going to get one, it would be Ake. And the reason being, I took a screenshot of it actually before going live. This was a quote from Pep in his press conference. He says, look at Nathan this season, Ake this season. Last season he didn't play 1 minute, and now he's undroppable. It happens. So I think that's pretty high praise from Pep, saying that Ake is undroppable. So if you can afford it, Ake. Anurag says, have Kane, Tony, Havertz front three with 3 mil in the bank, so I can't get Haaland. Any possible move? Havertz feels like a liability. He is a liability. I mean, I have to say, Havertz owners have been unlucky because his underlying numbers have been really strong. He was actually Gameweek 29's biggest XG underperformer. Let me just make sure I get the number right. He had 1.65 XG over the 2 games and failed to score from 1.65 XG. So, huge underperformance. And he is a liability, I agree. So, I would sell Havertz for Watkins. I think that's a pretty obvious move for you. Watkins home to Forest. Havertz away to Wolves. Better fixture for Watkins, in far better form. Makes sense to me. Pope or Steele? Pope. Flandy says, give me one Crystal Palace defender that starts. Has Mitchell been starting reliably recently? Let me just check that. He is actually the top scoring Palace defender. Yeah, Mitchell. I mean, none of them are good options. I don't know why you're going there. But I'd say Mitchell. He's got 2 assists this season, 2 last season, 2 the season before. I don't know why you're going for a Palace defender, Flandy, but then again, I know you love a punt, so it actually doesn't surprise me that much. But yeah, it'd be Mitchell. Bench Tony. I'd be reluctant to bench Tony. It depends who for. Alvarez or Tony. If you've already got Alvarez, then I feel like you have to start him. But if you're looking at who to bring in, I wouldn't be bringing in either. Oh, I don't know. That's tough actually, based on Pep's comments about Haaland. I think I'd start Tony actually, just because of that risk of Alvarez being benched now that Haaland's back. Let's do a poll on Haaland. What happens with Haaland this week? Starts 60 mins. Benched. There you go. Get your votes in. What do you reckon the situation with Haaland is this week? Estepinian or Botman? Botman. Look at Crystal Palace's upcoming games, great value. Yeah, but I just don't know which asset. Like, who do we want from Palace? Realistically, who do you really want from Palace? Like, Zaha's just not been doing it. I know he can be a good asset at times. He's not been good for me this season. I had him right before the World Cup break, and I think he missed a penalty. I'm not at all tempted to go to a Palace player, to be honest. Odds on FPL says he's got the full Man United lineup. He won't share it for obvious reasons, but there's no worries for FPL players. Rashford starts as striker today. Rashford up top. What do you guys think of that? You think that's good, or do you think he's more threatening down the left? Scored against Brentford playing striker, right? That's the tweet. Have the full lineup. I won't share it for obvious reasons, but there's no worries for FPL players. David's on Rashford captain. Did I miss a super chat? Sorry, let me scroll up. Made it this far without missing one. Apologies for missing that. Let me... was it this one? Start Saka or Mitoma. Bring in Haaland for Kane. I'd start Saka. I'd only bring in Haaland for Kane, really, if I was going to free hit 32. Otherwise, you're just going to be a player short in 32 because Haaland blanks, Kane doesn't. I'd start Saka. Yeah, Haaland for Kane is fine if you're going to free hit 32. I'm not sure if that was the one I missed though, actually. Let me just quickly check that. Bench Saka to play both March and McAllister. I don't think I'd bench Saka. I wouldn't do it. I'd start Saka. You've got to bench one of March and McAllister, in my opinion. Probably March, but it's very close. That's probably March. Chilwell or Koulibaly? Chilwell. Felix or Ødegaard? Felix, just about. Did you do a captaincy poll? I did. I'll do a final one now because we did it much earlier in the stream. Oh yeah, what happens with Haaland this week? 61% say he starts and gets 60 mins. 18% reckons he gets a 90. 20% reckons he's benched. Alright, we're going to follow that up with a captain poll. Rashford, Watkins, Haaland or other. If you vote other, let us know in chat who your captain is this week. Get your votes in. Final captain poll. Let's see how you guys are looking for captaincy. We've got about 15 minutes till the deadline. We've got 2,600 tuned in. That's the most I've had for a while. Is that because Harry's not been streaming? Is that what it is? Shout out to Harry, by the way, if you're one of Harry's subscribers. I saw he tweeted to his followers to say go watch my stream or Raptors. So welcome to Harry's subscribers if you're new around here. And if you are new around here, hit subscribe. I do these streams every week and I make FPL videos every day during the week. We'll have a look at those captain poll results in a second. In case you missed it, the Man United news is that there's no surprises from an FPL perspective. And Rashford starts up top in striker. I am a Harry refugee. Where's the poll? The poll's at the top of the chat box. Saka bench or in? I'd start Saka 100%. Kane to Haaland. I mean, it's a popular move this week, and as I was saying earlier, it depends on your chip strategy. If you've used your free hit, then you just have to be very careful how you look in Game Week 32, because Man City blank in Game Week 34. So do Brighton, Chelsea, and Man United. So if you're making moves this week, like Kane to Haaland, then you're selling someone who plays in 32 for someone who doesn't. So just be careful that you don't end up leaving yourself short in 32. But I can understand that people are bringing Haaland in. Obviously, he's a top scorer in the game, top goal scorer in the league at the moment. It makes a lot of sense, but you have to be careful. I'm going without him personally. As I was saying throughout the stream, it could be a season-defining game week for me. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see what happens in next week's team selection video, or on Twitter as well. I'll share there, I'm sure. Right, the final captain poll results. Who is your captain for Game Week 30? We've got 1,500 votes. Thanks for getting all the votes in. In first place, Haaland with 47%. Second is Rashford, 33%. Watkins, 17%. And 3% other. If you vote other, who is your other? Rich Mel says, love you, Focal, bro. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Rich Mel. Appreciate that. Hello, Starboy. How's it, Focal? How's it, Johnny? Mad is captain for Flandy. Flandy loves a punt, though. Good luck, Oscar, and good luck, everyone, of course, says David. About 10 minutes till the deadline. Fam is on Trippier captain. Shafquat says, is Maris good for a free hit? If you're on a free hit, yeah, but it's probably too late for you now. I don't think I'd free hit this week. 32 or 34 makes more sense to me to free hit. Yeah, I'm starting March over Mitoma. Captain Jesus. Leanne's got Salah captain. Hope that comes off for you, Leanne. As a Salah owner myself. Kemper says, thanks for the great podcast. Much appreciated. Yeah, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but after I finish up these streams, I had timestamps just in case you wanted to hop around or catch up on anything that we talked about during these streams. So I do that most streams. I'll try and do it after this one. I'm heading straight out as soon as the stream wraps up into London. But yeah, for anyone that missed it, there's not much news as far as the leaks, but Odds on FPL said there's no surprises from Man United, and Rashford starts up top. We've not had any Man City leaks because they've got a 5:30 kickoff. So I did message Fauzi, who reliably told us no Haaland last week, but obviously Haaland's been training and so on, and it is a 5:30 kickoff, so we won't know pre-deadline what the City lineup's looking like. Start Raya or Iverson? I actually think I'd give Iverson a nod there. What's the clean sheet odds say on that? Let's check. Leicester 37.5, Brentford 25. Yeah, I would start Iverson. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if both get you a 2-pointer, but you know, Iverson's been racking up the save points. Yeah, they're not a good team defensively. Iverson starts. Yeah, I mean, even if he didn't, then you've got Raya off the bench. It's not so much of a problem with keepers. There's no cameos. Chilwell in for a hit. Not for a hit. Not for a hit. Who do you guys support? Do you support Premier League team or another league? Or a lower league in the English football pyramid? Or are you Premier League neutral? Liverpool? Arsenal? Man United? Brighton? Forest, unfortunately. I hope Forest stay up. AIK. Our chat's moving mad now. City. Arsenal. The Borough. Coventry. Fulham. Chelsea. Antwerp. West Ham. Leeds. Newcastle. Barnsley. Annan Athletic. Bolton. Wolves. Argyle. Cork. PSV, Eindhoven, Mallorca, Milan, Valencia. Huge spread. Interesting. I mean, it's very similar when I ask you guys where you're from. These streams are always full of people literally all over the world, all corners of the globe. Which is the same, by the way, when I look in the analytics on YouTube. It's very interesting. If you'd asked me and I hadn't looked, I would say, it's probably like 75% England. But it's not at all. England's actually... United Kingdom is the country with the highest percentage, but it's only like 30%, if that, maybe like 25. It's very, very split. And then it's United States, India in third, by the way. Shout out to all my Indian subscribers. Norway in fourth, Ireland, Australia, Malaysia, South Africa, Sweden, Kenya, Egypt, Singapore, Canada, Nigeria, Nepal, Poland, and so on. Anyway, how long have we got? About 5 minutes till the deadline. Keep your questions coming in. Shout out to Andre from Ukraine, Kenya. 5 minutes. Get your questions in. For those who missed it, I am rolling the transfer this week. My plan is to probably go Maddison to Saka in 31. Not sure if I'll make a second transfer or not. That's my plan. Starboy McKee says double City defence is good for the rest of the season. Maybe if you went Edison and Ake, something like that. But yeah, the defenders are just... You can't really trust them. Ake is the one I'd get now based on Pep's comments. Pep called him undroppable in the press conference for this game week. So, yeah, Ake would be the one. And, yeah, I don't disagree. I think City defence is going to end up in a lot of our teams after blank Gameweek 32. Maybe not now. I suppose you could go now if you got a free hit to use in 32. That was a nice message. Where was it? From Virtual. FPL brings everyone together to agonise over the Premier League every week. Well said. And then he adds, but Pep's bald. Was that on the Ake comments? Yeah, okay. United leaks. We haven't got the lineup, but Odds on FPL tweeted that there's no surprises. FPL players will be happy. And that Rashford starts up top for Man United. John says, like, guys. Yeah, before you all disappear, 5 minutes till the deadline. Let's see if we can get it to 1,000 likes before we hit the deadline, which is in 5 minutes. But there's about 2,300 tune-ins, so we'll blow past that if you all hit like. If you've liked the stream, of course. Behind the scenes, I actually prepared loads for these streams. I've got about 20 tabs open here. And before I go live, I get these tabs lined up in the order I want, and I label each tab so that I can hop between stuff to talk about when you guys ask questions related to that. Or just talking points to keep the streams moving. So I do that every stream before I go live. So yeah, if you enjoy that as well, hit like, hit subscribe. Gabriel or share? Share, 100%. Captain Haaland or Rashford? Very close between them this week. I prefer Rashford. Even if I had Haaland, I'd be on Rashford. I just think Haaland maybe gets 60 minutes, and I know that's enough for him to do the damage, but I think Rashford gets more minutes. He's a midfielder, an extra point for a goal, 1 point if they keep a clean sheet. It's very close, but I prefer Rashford just about. Rashford for me. March or Odegaard? March. Salah or McAllister to start? Salah. I'm not answering that one from Jamie. Keep the questions coming in. Chris says, anyone captain in Watkins? There were quite a few people on Watkins captain, yeah. I think it was something like 17%, which is a fair bit. And obviously he's the differential captain. Rashford and Haaland are more popular ones, but I think Watkins is great. I tweeted about him the other day. Nottingham Forest have conceded 34 goals on the road. Only Bournemouth have conceded more this season. Watkins is a strong captaincy shout. Only one blank in his last 10 games. But you can make the case for Rashford. Rashford's home returns since the restart are 14, 8, 10, 12, 8, 15, 3 and 10. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double-digit returns at Old Trafford since the restart. One blank, and that one blank was when Casemiro was red carded after 34 minutes, so 10 points per game on average. And obviously I haven't got a tweet for Haaland, but Haaland doesn't need justification for captaincy. Top scorer in the game, top for goals scored this season. I'll say those are the 3 standouts. Good spread of options this week. ABC says Barnes in, Fernandes on the bench. Good luck, Oscar and all. Barnes in. I don't mind the Barnes punt at all, especially home to Bournemouth. In fact, we saw that stat just now. Only Bournemouth have conceded more goals on the road this season, and they're on the road against Leicester. 2 minutes till the deadline. John says, Oscar, hope you have a great beery day today. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to head straight into London after this. Going to a bottomless booze thing with my friends. So, as I was saying earlier, it's probably perfectly timed because I'm going to miss the Man City game as a non-Haaland owner. Could be a defining game week for me. Let's see what happens. Game is starting to hang. Make your changes, says Leanne. Yeah, make sure you've locked your team in. Bench in the right order. Captaincy on the right players that you want them to be on. Bench Isak or Trent. Based on Wilson scoring twice last game, I'd bench Isak. Henry or Estepinian? Estepinian. Hi Josh, how we doing? Play Tony or Jesus? Tony. Richmond says, how many points will you get in Gameweek 39? To be honest, I'm a box-to-box midfielder, so I don't know if I'll get you much. I might get you an assist. Last match we played, or the match before, I got an assist, won a penalty. Yeah, if anyone's not aware, there's a charity match between FPL North people and FPL South people after the season ends. Gaffer.io is the website, and you can actually play fantasy on it. I'm on there. I've got myself triple captain as well, actually. So yeah, that's going to be a week after Gameweek 38, and you can buy tickets to the game if you want to watch it live. It's I think it's in Birmingham, so I'll be playing. I'm a centre mid, so I'm not going to be hauling, but I'm only 5 mid. I'm a good enabler for your teams if you want to play. gaffr.io. Right, that's the deadline. Cooler King says locked in. Eric says locked, time's up. Huff says locked. That's it. Maguire starts, does he? Fair enough. I can't stick around today because I'm heading straight out. But thank you all for tuning into the stream. I hope you all enjoy the weekend, enjoy the game week. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for liking the stream. We ended up 18 short of 1k likes. So before you go, hit like. Let's get it to 1k. Subscribe to the channel if you are not already. And I appreciate you all. Enjoy the weekend. Focal out.